Uh-oh, look who's up here. CLG, VoiD, and NAKAT up here. Blue team, one of the team favorites out here to be able to come into this bracket. These two have actually not teamed in a tournament for this game yet. We've had a lot of community tournaments, and they've just been incredibly busy, but they have been grinding, at least on the ladder, dude. VoiD actually entered his first 1v1 tournament the other day and won the whole thing.
With Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry, bro.
I love the fact that VoiD and NAKAT are teaming together, though, because I got to talk to them a little bit yesterday, and they were telling me that this is their first tournament that they're entering in doubles, when it comes to being in doubles, and that is very different leaving singles, so I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out.
Well, the only tournament they've done for singles is just VoiD. VoiD only entered that one thing, and that's it.
And NAKAT hasn't entered.
Yeah, so like, this to me, this is like
we've been able to watch NAKAT play
yeah.
usually in his own personal time, but yes, absolutely. So I'm actually excited to see how VoiD just winning a tournament, what, 3 days ago at this point?
On Wednesday, so 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Now going into this, it's like, you're that guy that won that tournament, huh? You're that guy who's been dominating a ladder, what, top 3, top 4?
No pressure, no pressure. You know, if you're all there against them, you're going to be sweating a little bit. But yeah, VoiD and NAKAT, they've been teaming since like literally the early tech tests. So like they have a lot of synergy. They've teamed together in past tournaments outside this game as well. So they have a lot of synergy just based off like knowing how each other is going to react. VoiD with the Tom and Jerry, NAKAT going to be rocking the fabled Wonder Woman. Probably one of the best Wonder Women out there, you know, being on the club. Looks like we got the fist bumps ready to go. Ghost and Bl4ckPurity out here as their opponents representing the red team.
Samstorm watching from afar, that Wonder Woman be slapping sometimes. Gotta lasso it sometimes here too. But with the Rain Dog and Velma, what are your thoughts here when it comes to double support?
Honestly, not a bad team, right? Because Velma has the ability to kind of just chill back, shoot out that megaphone throughout the word bubbles as like the range character. Because Velma can act like a range character, no problem. But the problem is that you're dealing with NAKAT, who's getting right into your face and not letting you do any sort of setup. And on top of that, you got a lot of support from VoiD's Tom and Jerry being able to rock down that dynamite, hit the dynamite with the rack and be able to turn it into a triple one, or being able to set up traps. Right now, it looks like VoiD's having a little bit of trouble getting back onto the stage, so NAKAT's going to come over for a little bit of support. Thought he was going to go for a fastball, try to catch him with that side special punch. And another thing about Wonder Woman is that meter right underneath her, that allows her to power up her down attack. So if she's on the ground, she can charge up this big blast. If that manages to catch, it does a lot of damage. There's one kill off the top coming out from VoiD. Here comes NAKAT trying to get this follow-up on top of Rain Dog. Bl4ckPurity going to be able to land back down onto the ground. He gets back up there.
You just don't want to be able to miss that meter blast attack from Wonder Woman in general there too. It also has armor once it gets released here too. And it's just the fact that you could see that VoiD is playing behind. With the Tom and Jerry, you got the Jerry giving you some of that feedback, that help a little bit. And then you got the damage buff too that NAKAT can actually utilize when it comes to diving in. Because as Wonder Woman, of course, you are the tank. You're the one that's helping out with the survivability. VoiD doesn't need to overcommit as they take another life.
Yeah. They're seeing Velma right now just trying to create some space. They got 3 word bubbles ready to go. Ghost just needs a little bit of distance to be able to go for that good pickoff, by the way, from Bl4ckPurity, being able to take out that stock from NAKAT. They get that life away from him. They got 136 damage here on NAKAT, or sorry, on VoiD. As you're gonna try to like, you know, create a little bit of space here, throwing out the TNT, throwing out the Jerry as well. Tom and Jerry kind of like a little bit of a puppet character. You see Jerry down there, literally has the ability to pick up Jerry to increase the amount of attack damage you're gonna be able to go for. So NAKAT definitely wants to get that pickup. While that Jerry is on Wonder Woman, by the way, has the ability to shoot off a little bit of little quirks at opponents.
Let's not forget the stall potential too that we have from Tom and Jerry and Velma individually, so that way they don't have to use too much utility to make it back. Love the fact that VoiD was able to stall, wait for it, and then spikes with that down attack. I love it here. They take VoiD after that, but still, the way that he was still able to do that on stage was beautiful.
Dude, VoiD was literally in disadvantage at 172 damage and managed to turn
He did the alley-oop.
It is like, nope, get out of here, brother. Got him with the cat. Honestly, it looked like VoiD was the tank there for a second. You saw him live into that high of damage. Kind of a rare sight to see on the likes of Tom and Jerry. Not one of the heaviest characters, you know? Pretty light. I mean, they're just a cat and mouse.
Right? I mean, sometimes you got to juggle them both together, but it's just the fact that the way that VoiD and NAKAT played that kind of trickles into what I was saying before, where it's NAKAT that takes the lead, and VoiD is in the back doing a lot of that extra pressure and damage while keeping himself safe. And then, of course, with NAKAT playing Wonder Woman being that tank, you also help your own survivability. While you are trying to overcommit, you are doing a lot of that damage without having to feel like you're at risk of always being spiked or damaged in that sense.
Another thing about Tom and Jerry is that VoiD doesn't necessarily need to stay in the back line. You know, like, yes, he's got a lot of range tools. He technically is the ranged role, but Tom and Jerry can scrap. You get in there with Tom, bro, you get that down air, they hit him with the frying pan into the trash. The frying pan into trash lids combo, bro, like, you're going to die off the top. It's a very strong tool to have in Tom and Jerry's kit. Meanwhile, facing off against Ghost and Bl4ckPurity, who have actually been putting in a little bit of work, right? They got 2 kills on the board, so they got some points for themselves. So we'll see if we can be able to adapt here for the map number 2. They got the counter picks up that. We're gonna go straight back to Sky Arena, this time with the tri-platform variant. So a little bit more platforms for them to be able to jump on. What's actually good for this stage, especially for Velma's sake, is that she can actually target one of those platforms with her word bubbles, and they just kind of circle around it, and there's just active hurt boxes for the opponents when they're just trying to land. So that could be one of the reasons they go for it, as well as that laser. That tether from Rain Dog is really good for being able to pull their teammate in, as well as just being like this active hit box that the opponents have to be able to get away from, because that's just how Rain Dog always gets max damage, right? Because there's just so much passive damage on board with Rain Dog.
And you're allowing Bl4ckPurity to actually hold back a little bit, while Ghost is the one that's going to overextend, and Bl4ckPurity just pull Velma right back in. The nice little dodge there, as the cat actually was looking to go in for a spike. So cheeky in general, but then the auto retaliation to actually just back away and find a defensive way to just get back to VoiD is also really smart. But the way that red team is playing right now, they're putting in a lot of damage.
I mean, we saw Ghost with the double down air, very strong, and shoot out that megaphone, manages to get that big hit on VoiD. Word bubbles coming back out. A shield's ready to go for NAKAT, and manages to go for it, not only just to close the distance, but also to give armor to both him and his teammate. Now we're back off stage. Gets him with the charge attack from Wonder Woman. Can get the second one. Good stall and good save on top of that.
He pulled him back.
Bro, as he got the kill on top of that, so that's 1 point apiece for both teams. There's an up air coming out from VoiD. Managed to put the second point on the board. Now again, all eyes on VoiD. 85 damage, playing the tank role yet again, just trying to be able to survive for as long as possible. Gets the down air, couldn't get the jab follow up on top of that. Things are starting to get a little bit sweaty over here on the right side of the stage. Almost got the second down air, and NAKAT looking to go for that tear.
Even with that spread of knowledge there too, to make everybody big here on the stage, they're able to actually be able to get a lot of that damage done too, a lot of that control on these platforms like you were mentioning before with the words earlier on. But look, they're chasing down, they're trying to isolate Ghost in general. You can notice that is their focus right here. But with the tether, Bl4ckPurity has been doing such a good job at bringing Ghost right back after Ghost is able to extend a little bit.
Ghost is having trouble just closing the distance away from her opponents, right? Ghost just needs to go for like the megaphone from a long distance, be able to get a lot of like projectile damage going, but you see him kind of just chasing after him. Now we're seeing a kind of a scary situation for Bl4ckPurity trying to get back down to the stage. Both red team players are at high damage. Everyone's at high damage, but still the advantage is in blue team's favor because they have 3 points left to be able to play with here.
Also, the timing on NAKAT's armor in general, too, to actually negate a lot of those elements is really important here as he flies all the way to the side of the stall here. Again, fishing rod to respect. It's a lot of that space, but both blue teams are in trouble.
Dude, that was really cool. You saw NAKAT go for the up special. VoiD jumped on top of that shield to regain his resources. Very smart play. I love it to see players working together in that regard. Now we're seeing everyone, again, just kind of playing careful, not wanting to risk too much. Everyone's at such high damage. Bl4ckPurity off stage. All those projectiles from Ghost helping out. So that's going to be a point for NAKAT and VoiD, just 1 point away from being able to finish this off. All eyes on Bl4ckPurity, connects the trash lids, throws him into the trash can, gets the 4 points. NAKAT and VoiD taking a 2-0 victory and going to move on to the bracket in their pool.
That was an amazing game, though. Just to talk about what we witnessed from both of those teams in that last game was insane. Not only the timing on the tether to pull, as Rain Dog to pull back your player, but